person. Today's is going to be so much fun. Today we have the one, the only, the amazing Curtis McKinnon.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Curtis is an MC, writer, host, poetry slam winner, independent artist, and just released a new song.
Man, you guys make me sound like I'm really busy, like I do a lot of things, you know? I do a little.
It's because you send us your bio. So first off, how are you enjoying being on the show?
I'm having a great time, man. I love learning about the video game of the week, the book of the week. You know, some things you're giving me some more things to do in my downtime while I'm creating and doing different things, man. So I love it.
Okay, so I have to ask. You do so many different things. You are a writer, host, and independent artist. Which one do you like the best?
That's tough. What I like the best, I have to say hosting is probably one of my top because I love being in front of an audience.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what exactly is an independent artist?
Well, an independent artist is somebody that's not signed by a record label. They produce things themselves, they write things themselves, and they self-publish. So it's somebody that does everything for themselves. There's no major corporation that's backing them, and that's what I am.
Wow, well that's really, really cool. What's the best part about being an independent artist?
All right, so the best part about being an independent artist is having the creative control to write and create in the way that I see fit. There's nobody, trying to tell me what kind of song to do or how to deliver this in a particular way. I get creative control for what I put out, and my integrity is intact 100%. So that's the best part about being an independent artist. I get to creative freedom to do anything that I want to do with my artistry and my artist name, and that's what makes it so great.
Wow. So your bio says that you slam poetry. Can you tell me more about that?
Well, I don't slam poetry. I do poetry slams, so it's a little bit different. Poetry slams are basically competitions that poets get into, and they see, they have the crowd, random people judge, and then they have a score of 0 to 10, and your goal is to get as close to 10 as possible to convince the audience and your fellow peers that it deserves a 10, and then whoever wins at the end is the winner. And I've had the opportunity to win quite a few in my day.
So you won a few awards for Poetry Slam, like you just said. Well, which are you most proud of?
I would say the Fringe Festival in 2012, as well as the Fringe Festival in 2018. Because I didn't expect to come back and win 6 years later. It was very impromptu, even from when I was asked to be a part of it to winning that. So that was really, really, really cool.
So my dad said that you have a new song coming out. Can you tell me about it?
Absolutely. The song is called Ode to Black Women, and it's basically a song about uplifting the women in my community and, who have been mistreated or mishandled by, people all over the world. So it's my job in the song. I shed light on some of those things, and then I also make sure I take time to uplift and empower them so that they know that someone is out there speaking on their behalf and making them feel good, and giving them some more self-esteem and confidence to know that somebody has their back and they are supported.
So what was the song important for you to make?
Well, it was important for me to make because I've always been not a silent advocate, but I've never liked seeing people being mistreated, and I felt like this happened more often than not. And so it was important for me as a man to make a stand for women because, not just because we all come from women, but we're all human beings. And so when I see somebody that looks like my sister or my mother or somebody that's just anyone that's being mistreated, it bothers me, especially when they haven't been provoked or done anything to deserve that type of treatment. So it was important for me to make a stand for something like that.
Well, does it take a lot of training to be able to do this?
It does take a lot of practice. You don't need a lot of training to have a heart to want to speak out for people or to help people. But in terms of creativity, you just need a little bit of practice and the heart to do it. And of course, you'll eventually get there.
Well, what is the hardest part about being an independent artist?
Well, it's like the pros and cons. So the good thing about being independent artists can sometimes also be the not so great thing about being independent artists, because when you need funding, when you want to do really creative music videos, or you want to, pay for production and sound, those are things that have to come from out of your own pocket, or if you lucky enough, you have fan support, and they can help you to promote your dreams. So the artist part would probably be the funding and the fact that you have to do most things on your own.
Well, what is the most rewarding part about your job?
The most rewarding part is definitely having the fans appreciate and then have the things that you create, it resonate with them, and then the fact that they say, you were speaking for me, or like, thank you so much for making this, or just I'm so grateful that this is the type of content that you make, and it's really rewarding because it's me being true to myself, and it's almost like they are. What's the word I'm looking for? It's almost like it's like they're a part of me. They're showing love to a part of me, of who I am. So it's not like a job. It's an extension of me. So that's got to be the most rewarding part.
Okay. So your bio says that you hosted a bunch of events. Have you interviewed or hosted famous people?
Not yet, but I would love to. I have hosted open mics. I've done weddings. I've done a benefits awareness for multiple myeloma cancer and things like that. But I haven't interviewed anybody famous yet. Soon.
Mm-hmm. Soon. Just soon. Exactly like me. Just soon. We're gonna do it soon. Just wait. Just patience. Patience is a virtue. So what is the craziest thing that has happened while you were doing your passion?
That's a tough question. The craziest thing? I want to say it might be from winning that slam in 2018, because I just wasn't expecting it at all. It was very last minute, and I came back and I did a couple of old things and maybe one new thing, and then me winning that, and that was just, it was mind blowing for me.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. I couldn't believe it.
So my dad says that you are a good singer. Can you throw me some bars?
Let's see. I can sing no. I won't make the audience's ears bleed. But I'll throw you some bars. Here we go. Enthusiasm truly happens when not one but two be passionate about the same things. Connection integrating. Similar train of thoughts of the Underground Railroad to Noah's Ark. A fresh start till death do us part. I'm focused on the spiritual, the physical. It dwindles like a moth to a flame. I just want to be kindled. We make things complicated when they were meant to be simple. Sometimes we should use force. Most times we should be gentle. Sometimes I want to fly into the eye of the sky. Land on a silver moon. Converse with the Most High. Avoid the noise pollution, confusion, and intrusion. Where if I cease to be alive, I continue to revive. This flow is abstract, if you can imagine that, continues to fluctuate and oscillate like NASDAQ. And that's that.
Wow. That's good.
Thank you.
I can't think of that. I can't think that fast.
Hey, it's practice. It's practice and repetition.
Practice makes progress.
Exactly. Just like how you do this show all the time. Somebody might not be able to do what you do, but you do it.
See,
and
when you're at the start of a new show, you start okay. And then while you're elevating over, for me, it's been 2 years. So I've elevated 2 years and a half.
Right.
And now I'm actually getting pretty good at it.
Yeah.
Because you're memorizing. You have that muscle memory.
Right, exactly.
And you're remembering some of the words. So seriously, you can just remember all of the questions and just sincerely just look at the entire thing.
And that's it.
Boom. It's so cool to see. Well, what is your greatest achievement in life? Because you have so many jobs.
My greatest achievement in life is probably not having to do with professionally. It's probably being married. It's probably being married. Me, when I got married in 2018,
Wow.
that was my greatest achievement. Finding somebody that loves me and and that loves
You
God.
love them?
Yeah, and I love them absolutely. You better believe it. You can't be in a marriage if you don't love that person back. Well, you can, but it just be a very wild adventure that you could probably write a book about.
A little bit weird.
Yeah, a little bit weird, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. But who helped motivate or inspire you the most in following your dreams?
That's a phenomenal question. I was motivated and inspired by Martin Luther King, Tupac Shakur, my friends. I have a very great circle of friends. They don't live close to me. A lot of them don't live close to me, but they have pursued their dreams, and it inspired me to know that I could do the same because they say, hey, they had little to no help when they did it, and I just looked at myself and said, well, they can do that. I should be able to do it too. And I just tapped into myself, and I was able to accomplish some pretty awesome things. So yeah.
So, what is the coolest thing that you have ever done?
Wow, the coolest thing I've ever done for sure has definitely been shooting the music video, my first music video for the song "Ode to Black Women," which is streaming on all platforms right now. Shameless plug. But that was the coolest thing that I've done. It was me taking a chance on myself, and I had my family around me. My family was in the video, my wife, my close friends, and that was just the coolest thing. That was the coolest thing.
So, what advice should you give my listeners if they wanted to grow up and be an independent artist?
I would say be true to yourself. Always be true to yourself. That's where you're going to find the key. That's where you're going to find the magic in that, because you're unique and a one of one. So be true to you, and the art will flow. And as long as you're staying true to that content and the things that you're creating, all the things will follow.
If you could go back 10 years and tell yourself something, what would it be?
Ooh, it would probably be, don't care so much about what other people think. That would be the main thing. I would save myself a lot of time, a lot of headache, and get a lot more accomplished if I didn't worry so much about what someone thought about what I was doing.
So, what did you want to be when you grew up? Well, did you always want to be an independent artist?
Actually, no. When I was a kid, I wanted to, a part of me wanted to play football. And then there was another part of me that wanted to make video games, because I loved video games. I still love video games. I don't have as much time to play them, but I wanted to do that. I thought I would make different types of Kool-Aid, like being like a chemist or something like that. So I wanted to do a ton of different things before I landed on being an artist.
Well, if you could do any other job that you were not already doing, what would it be?
Honestly, I would say comedian. I don't think that I'm super duper funny, but I love making people laugh, and I think if I took some time, I could be pretty good at it. So if that would be one. I love making people laugh. It brings people together. It's just more a part of who I am. Bringing people together and having people feel good once I leave the room. When I enter the room and when I leave, they feel better than when before I came in.
Well, can you tell me a joke?
Oh man, put me on the spot. Well, I said I need to take some time. Let's move on before I embarrass myself. This is why it's a dream and not a reality as yet. Gotta practice it.
Sí, español. Sí, means yes. So what was the biggest mistake you ever made, and how did it change you as a person?
The biggest mistake I've made. That's a tough one also. The biggest mistake I've made. Probably lying, but it was also one of the best things that happened to me in a weird way. Because I lied about my age. I used to always lie about my age because I didn't feel like I was respected, or people looked at me the same. So I lied about my age to, to get a little bit of respect or to have some self-esteem. And then, I got arrested. And, but it wasn't just because I lied. They said that, but, I got arrested while my friends didn't. And even though we were all together, but that experience showed me the reality of what it was like for people like me at that time, and even the present day. And it fueled some of my passion to write, which is actually, I wrote my first song shortly after that experience when I was 15. I lied and said I was 16. So just by 1 year, I didn't think I was doing anything completely horrible. But, it turned into an experience that ended up actually shaping my life a little bit. So yeah.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're not working as an independent artist or hosting, what do you do for fun?
Well, I listen to one or two podcasts, like, I listen to some wrestling podcasts. I used to love wrestling. I don't watch it like that anymore, but I used to love wrestling. So I listen to a podcast about that here and there if I do want to keep up. I watch movies on Netflix and Hulu, sometimes Disney Plus. And, and in my downtime, I definitely play a little bit of video games. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I know you play video games, so what is your favorite one?
Oh, man. So my favorite one right now is probably Dragon Ball Fighter Z. It's probably tied with Street Fighter. Street Fighter's got to be my all-time favorite video game. All-time favorite. Mm-hmm. And also, you know what? I play Marvel Strike Force on my phone almost every day.
Phones!
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Normally I just play on PC, but that's fine. Okay, so what is your favorite book to read?
Right now, I'm reading this book called The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. And it's a great read for people that are into self-development and just discovering things about yourself. And it just helps you to, again, build that confidence and learn things about you to stop putting a limit on yourself in terms of your happiness and what it is that you can do and accomplish. And it's a great read. So right now, it's my favorite book. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, can you tell me that one story? Remember, this is a kid show. The one story, well, that you're not supposed to tell me about. Come on, you can tell me.
Well, I'll say, so when I was 15,
Yeah.
I skipped school that day, and I was skipping school because my friends wanted to go to the mall. We were on our way to school, but then my friend and his girlfriend didn't want to go to school that day. And at that day, I had like a little, I don't want to call it an ear infection, but it was hard for me to hear. People didn't believe me, but it was hard for me to hear. So once we started turning in the wrong direction, I wasn't a part of the conversation to find out that we weren't going anywhere. That we weren't going to school, I should say. So, so that's when we went to the mall, and I was with my friends, and I said, well, you know what? It's okay if we don't go to school. I'm always at school all the time. I don't do this all the time. And then, we were walking around the mall, and then we saw somebody. They stopped us, and then they asked, they said, hey, you guys supposed to be here? I said, well, I said that my school is on a field trip, and I couldn't get the permission slip signed or something like that. And then, that's why we were at the mall. And then they said, okay. And then later, so we think everything's fine. And then later on, as I'm leaving the mall, there's a guy that walks up behind us, and me and my friend, and he goes, I'm letting you know right now, if you run, you're going to be arrested. And that was like oh, shoot. And, we went up the escalator, and then we saw a bunch of other teenagers that were like us sitting down on the floor in front of a store. And there was an officer there, and it's like they were rounding up all the kids that were skipping school. And, so that's a little bit more of the story that, I wasn't going to share, but here we are.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So, major lesson, stay in school, regardless of the circumstances. If you see something funky going on, or, you always have a choice. Mine ended up working out a little bit, but at the time, it was not a fun experience. My brother had to pick me up, then I had to tell my mom, and then my mom had to go down, and it was a mess at that time.
Situation.
So, yeah, it's just better for you to be honest up front at all times, and you'll save yourself a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble.
Well, is there anything else you think my listeners should know about you?
I love comic book shows and movies. Shows about geniuses. One of my favorite shows is Prison Break. I really love anime too. Let's see. I don't know what shows your viewers would watch in terms of anime, but I do like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I like Death Note. I like Hunter x Hunter. Hunter x Hunter is one of my all-time favorite. And let's see. Dragon Ball Super, of course. Dragon Ball and Naruto. So I love anime. I'm still a kid at heart. And, I like to say that way. It helps keep me, in the know.
Well, do you have a website or Facebook for my listeners that want to follow you?
Absolutely. On social media, you can follow me at Mr. McKinnon on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. On Instagram and Facebook, it's mr.mckinnon, McKinnon. And then on Twitter and TikTok, it's MisterMcKinnon. So you can follow me on all social media platforms and on my YouTube. Of course, please follow me on YouTube so I can upload really cool content. You guys will be the first ones to see it.
See, I want to have TikTok. My father won't let me.
Soon in due time. In due time. In due time. Mm-hmm.
I think when I'm going to be like 12, I think my dad can let me have it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Just 3 more years. Okay, so what is that one question that you think I forgot to ask you?
I don't know. I think you did. I think you did pretty good. I don't know if there's another one. I think we covered all the bases.
Well, thank you, Curtis, for being my special guest. Can you stick around for Math Corners?
Sure, absolutely. I used to love math when I was a kid. Then I got not so good at it, but I'm ready to get right back at it.